A lot of the options surrounding what the Raptors can do towards the NBA trade deadline are becoming limited. Limited because, Trae Young's already got traded. Anthony Davis is now injured. Not a lot of desire in taking the Raptors' assets on. But one player who is available officially and could have some considerations for what the Raptors could offer is Memphis Grizzlies in regards to Ja Morant. So let's discuss if this is a player the Raptors could target, what they could offer, and if it's something that they should go forward with. And for starters, again, not often teams outright do this. They have explicitly stated, according to Shams Charania, just in, for the first time, the Memphis Grizzlies are entertaining offers to potentially move two-time All-Star Ja Morant ahead of the February 5th NBA trade deadline. It's not often that a team goes out of their way, essentially, to say, we're trying to trade him, we are exploring offers for this player. Usually, you keep that one close to your chest. You hide that one, because as soon as you say he's available, automatically decrease the player's value. Now, it's no secret that things haven't been great between Ja Morant and the current Memphis Grizzlies coaching staff. Thomas Usalo and him have been butting heads all season. His production has dropped this season for sure. And it felt like a trade was imminent. But it's still, situations have been like this before, and teams won't outright say they are trying to trade that player. So, interesting move pulled by the Memphis Grizzlies here. So as a result of his value kind of decreasing here, it provided an opportunity for teams around the NBA, such as the Toronto Raptors, to dip into their bag and see what that trade could look like. So few teams probably interested. I'll pull up the Kalshi prediction market on this to see where the Raptors stack up with other teams as far as their potential to land a player. So the most likely destination right now is Brooklyn. Up there with Brooklyn are Sacramento, Miami. We have the Raptors here at 9%, according to this. So low, not a lot of volume in the market. Only $27,000 put into this market from a betting perspective. That's not going to reveal elite information, but it shows that there is somewhat of a position here for the Raptors to make this trade. There's at least something there that the Raptors could do. A little bit of a hint, not like completely valid, 100% credible information. But the Raptors could be in the mix. So, Ja Morant this season, like I said, production has fallen. 19 points per game, down from what he's done previously in 23, 25, 26, and 27 points per game. And he's put up, very impressive numbers previously. Sorry, the 25-point game, he was only 9 games played, but still. Mid 20-point per game player. And he's done this on, very good teams. He's done this on a 2 seed in the Western Conference. He's gotten MVP votes in 2 seasons. He's been an All-Star twice. He's been All-NBA once. So Ja Morant's a very impressive player who still hasn't hit his prime yet. He's dealt with injuries. He's definitely dealt with suspensions. Question the character that you're bringing into the team as well, and production dropping. I think the production doesn't scare me a ton, because I think in the right environment, we'll see the numbers go back up to what we've seen previously. What definitely does scare me is the character and the attitude issues. He's butt heads with the current coaching staff. He's been suspended on multiple occasions for showing a gun on social media. That's crazy to happen once, let alone to happen twice. You wonder where his head is at, and that is definitely a concern. But I think Ja Morant is such a talented player, and you're going to be able to possibly get him for such a good trade that it might be worth it. The contract isn't even that egregious. You're not, super handcuffed by this. He's going to be making 39. He's 39.4 this year, 42.1 the next year, nearly 45 the next year. That's not crazy. That's not crazy valuation for a player like that. And with so much upside, maybe worth taking on. So let's stop stalling here. Let's get into what the trade would have to look like from a Raptors perspective. Obviously, if you're trading for Ja Morant, you are trying to move Emmanuel quickly. You are trying essentially with this trade to upgrade on your point guard. And I think that this is a significant enough upgrade that I'm willing to take a chance on the character and attitude issues that could come with it. Alongside Emmanuel quickly, Abaji is a guy you want to get off of because it's an expiring contract. And you'll have to sweeten the deal with a young player. I think there's going to be a bit more interest in someone like Jacoby Walter. I'd be willing to go this. Could you convince him to go Grady Dick instead? Maybe, but let's say more realistic to go Jacoby Walter. And there's got to be pick. It's got to be a pick this year. That's something I would try and throw their way and see what they say. One pick, I'm doing this because there's risk involved on our side in taking Ja Morant. But I'm willing to assume that risk for the upside potential. The problem is, will Memphis want this? Yes, they get the point guard replacement, but paying Emmanuel Quickley $32.5 million contract per year for the next 3.5 years is not super desirable. It's only one pick here and one okay young player, but you think it's low, but Trae Young just went for no picks. I know that Washington have to pay him. That's part of it. But Trae Young just went for no picks. Now, there's a lot of value to expiring salaries, especially in this era of tax, CBA, cap, everything. But, there is a point guard replacement here. There is first-round pick equity for this year to strengthen the team. I don't think this is an egregious offer to throw their way and see what happens. Again, 2 picks. I'm a little bit scared to do 2 first-round picks. That might be a bit too far. But I could even attach a second or two to this and probably still feel comfortable. Maybe 2 seconds I go Grady Dick instead of Jacoby Walter, who I prefer to move Grady Dick than Jacoby Walter at the moment. But I think that there is enough upside here that I'm willing to do it. The fit isn't the greatest. I'll admit to that. You're putting in Ja Morant to a spot that Ja Morant's elite at attacking the rim. He puts a ton of pressure on the rim. He's a very good playmaker, but he's not that big of a floor spacer. It's kind of the appeal of Emmanuel Quickley in theory is that he can space the floor for the likes of Scotty Barnes, R.J. Barrett, and Brandon Ingram. This does not help your floor spacing for sure. At least for Trae Young, he's a very good playmaker and an elite floor spacer. There is way more space for your offense there, but Ja Morant, not nearly as negative a defender as Trae Young. I wouldn't say he's a good defender. Absolutely not. And I think there's just enough upper tier talent there that in the right environment, hey, maybe reuniting with Dark Rajakovic helps reignite something for Ja Morant. Maybe this is a good situation for him to put all the past antics behind him and dial in on court. I'd be willing to assume all of the risks associated for 1 pick, and not to mention, to be honest, we've talked about it enough here, that Emmanuel Quickley contract at this point is it's a negative asset because of the contract. So Memphis, in a way, are helping you out by taking that Emmanuel Quickley contract too. And this Ja Morant contract ends sooner than the Emmanuel Quickley contract does. So for me, I'm interested. How desperate are they to trade Ja Morant? I feel like they should feel pretty obliged to want to move him in the next less than a month. Curious to see what sort of offers are out there. I'm sure there's some team that's going to give something better. Maybe. I'm not sure. I think there's a team that could give something better. But I do think there's a chance that this could be the best they got. And I'm willing to do it. I would be willing to gamble on this. It's 1 pick I can live without. It's getting off the Quickley contract, and it's taking a shot on a player who has clear MVP potential. Maybe not anymore, but maybe it's in there somewhere for us to find. I'm ready for it. I'm ready to do it.